What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to MKO Pugilism, aka MKO Boxing, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow on TikTok, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. So there's some breaking news from last night. I saw various videos about this thing, and it was a bit of a shocker, and it still is a bit of a shocker, and that's that Conor Benn has now left Eddie Hearn, and I believe his contract, I think, was at an end anyway. But rather than re-signing with Eddie Hearn, he's now decided, and he's now gone and signed a one-fight, eight-figure deal with Dana White and Dana White's Zuffa Boxing. So now we've had basically one of the poster children, the poster kids for Matchroom, who's been with Conor Benn was with Matchroom from the beginning of his career. I remember his dad Nigel said, "Yeah, I'm gonna put him with Eddie Hearn. Let Eddie Hearn look after his career, guide his career." And yeah, good move at the time. But now it's all turned the other way. Dana White has now got him, and it's interesting because I especially didn't expect to hear something like this when I saw that Matchroom and Eddie Hearn they've extended their deal with DAZN, so now they've got another 5-year extension on their relationship and their broadcast deal with DAZN. So I thought, well, I wasn't even thinking about Conor Benn leaving in the first place, but I thought, this is a positive thing, surely, that this means that even if fighters thought about leaving, they might stay because they'll look and say, well, we've got these 5 years, we've got a good deal, good broadcaster. Although Dana White's out there with Paramount's bigger platform, more subscribers, but DAZN, as some others have noted, DAZN has less subscribers, but at the same time, the subscribers on DAZN, they're there for the sports, they're there for many of them are there for the boxing, some are there for football and stuff like that. But generally speaking, they're there for the sports. So smaller platform, but it's focused on what it's focused on. So yeah, this is shocking news. Especially considering Eddie Hearn and Matchroom have been by Conor Benn's side, and they've been really sticking their neck on the line. Even you can think of a guy like Frank Smith, because Frank Smith was in a difficult situation of being on Conor Benn's side when Conor Benn fought Eubank Jr. twice, and he's actually, I believe, married to one of Chris Eubank Jr.'s sister. He's married to his sister, so he had to work for Conor Benn. Meanwhile, being married to a Eubank, so that was crazy. And you think of Eddie Hearn, and when Conor Benn failed the PED tests, Eddie Hearn was just doing interview after interview, defending him, sort of really fighting his corner and everything. So yeah, there was Hearn definitely put himself out there for Conor Benn. Don't get me wrong. On the flip side of that, you could say, well, he's looking after him because Conor Benn is a very high value commercial property. Conor Benn is a guy that will bring money to your company, so that's going to be part of your reason for staying with him. But at the same time, with the PD things, bands can be involved, all this sort of stuff. So he did stick by Conor Benn. He got Conor Benn fights out in America where where they're, I don't want to say looser on the law, but where he would be allowed even with his band to compete. So he got him fights out there, and he sort of pulled out all the stops for Conor Benn. So many people call this betrayal and stuff, and in a sense it is a kind of betrayal because what Eddie Hearn done, some other people might not have done for him. So you could call it betrayal. But he spoke out for Conor Benn and all this stuff. But at the same time, I would say, there's been other boxers over the years who Matchroom have probably left by the wayside because they're not as bankable. They're not like high value stars. So there'll be other boxers out there who he wouldn't have done the same thing for, because they don't bring the same amount of money. So you could look at it kind of both ways. But one of the craziest things was that Eddie Hearn, he done an interview after this news broke, and he said he tried to get hold of Conor Benn, and he said that he reached out to his management and everything and said, look, after all that we've done for you, I think we at least deserve a phone call. We at least deserve a call to discuss this. Maybe we can meet or match the number. And he said that Conor Benn just flat out refused to even have a phone call with him. He refused even to talk to him. And that is crazy after all the years of work that he put in for Conor Benn to not even be willing to have a conversation with him. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think boxing is a business, professional boxing. There's no loyalty in it. You can, the minute you lose a fight, you could be done and dusted. So it's kind of a selfish business. There's no real loyalty in it. But I can understand Eddie Hearn. He said it did hurt him. It did kind of cut deep with him, because Conor Benn, outside of Anthony Joshua, Conor Benn is a massive, the next biggest bankable star is, that's what Conor Benn is to Matchroom. But yeah, it's crazy. And I think from Dana White's point of view, it's a genius move. It's a master stroke from Dana White's point of view, because what he's done now by acquiring Conor Benn, even though the deal allegedly is just for 8-figure deal, so $10 million plus or £10 million plus deal, he kind of strikes Eddie Hearn at the heart of Matchroom, because this is, as I said, outside of Anthony Joshua, Conor Benn is Matchroom's biggest star, the biggest name, the most notable name, the name getting called out by all the American fighters, by Shakur Stevenson, talked about by Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, all these guys of Ryan Garcia, they're all mentioned Conor Benn, they all know who he is. So by Dana White acquiring him, he really gives Matchroom a, body blow, blow right in the heart of the organization, because he's basically taken their one of their second biggest commodity. So it's a massive move for Dana White, and very strategic and very clever. It's very clever what he's done there, because it's, even if he doesn't keep Conor Benn forever, it's still a blow, because he's saying to Matchroom, well, I can take your biggest asset anytime I want. And there's even rumors I've heard about Dana White wants to be the one to do Fury versus Joshua, and among other fights. We know with the help of Turki Al-Sheikh, he done Crawford versus Canelo. So yeah, he's got big ambitions, big plans, Dana White. It's a master stroke by him. And it was funny as well, because Conor Benn said, he still wants Eddie Hearn to be involved in some capacity. And yeah, to me, that's kind of a crazy statement to be making, because you can't be thinking straight to be saying something like that. You really think that you can have some sort of working relationship between you're with Dana White, and you think Eddie Hearn's gonna come alongside you to work with Dana. Like, it doesn't make any sense, because him and Dana White, Eddie Hearn, they've been back and forth of war of words. You can't expect them to voluntarily working together. So yeah, it's one of them moves. I don't blame him in a sense for making it, but it can be looked upon as disloyal and whatever. But at the same time, boxing's a business. You've only got a short time to make life-changing money. So as much as it's disloyal, I can kind of understand it. But I just think it's wild that you wouldn't even have a conversation with Eddie Hearn. That that's crazy, but it is what it is. They're both multi-millionaires, so let him go and get his money and see what happens next. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below, and until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out.